And we're live! Woohoo! Welcome along to the live stream, everybody. For those that don't know who I am, let me introduce myself. Hello, I'm Gavin Hoey. I'm one of the presenters right here on Adorama TV, and you are watching Adorama Live, which means anything and everything will probably go wrong. It will happen in the next hour. So if you're joining us live, say hello in the chat. If you're watching the recording, hello recorded people. Welcome to the past, where things were nice and peaceful and quiet, and I'm sure it's all exciting and dynamic in the future. Let me know in the chat in the future what it's like. But for the current people, if you're watching live, you can ask questions as we go along. And to deal with the questions, you can see them and you can hear them. We've got Freya on the Super Switcher, Sam on the comments. Woo!
Hey everyone, how's everyone doing? Yeah, we've got quite a few people here actually, with some opinions already on Speedlights.
Opinions?
Yeah, so that's good. Bring your opinions, that's brilliant. I know that Gavin's going to be asking a few questions along the way, so stay tuned and give us your opinions.
Yeah.
Would you like to know where some of the people are from?
Some of the people are, yes, please.
Okay, some edited highlights. So we've got beautiful Northumberland. I bet you've been having some nice sunshine in Northumberland, because we've had really lovely weather in the UK until yesterday.
Yeah.
Colorado, we've got California, we've got a few people catching us first time live. We've got Chris Evans.
Ooh.
So no movies being made at the moment, Chris, eh? And we've got Manchester, we've got Sweden, we've got Alberta in Canada, we've got Germany, Stockholm. Yeah, so drop us a comment if you're first time live.
Yeah.
It's always nice to see you here.
Always good to know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Oh, yeah, I'm ready. Let's go for it. Okay, so it's not just the three of us. We have the awesome... Bring her in. The awesome Chloe. Sorry. I'm nearly ready.
Bring her in, like
Bring
someone's
her in,
gonna bring her in, like wheel her in.
Sorry, I'm trying
She's
to
in
do
a
two
box.
things at once, and I'm a bloke, and I can't do that. So we're going to be doing some speedlight photography today. So I'm going to go through some things that go wrong with your speedlights, things that happen, stuff that you can improve by doing a few simple changes. So, spoiler alert, I am going to be taking some really bad pictures of Chloe. Chloe, I'm going to apologise in advance, but hopefully we'll make it better as we go along. So we're going to do on-camera flash, we're going to do off-camera flash, and we're going to try and get through as many as we can in the next hour. But before we get going, I'm going to ask the audience a question. So if you're here in the chat or you're watching the recording, let me know in the comments, what's gone wrong with your speedlight photography? Or maybe it isn't yours, maybe it's a friend of yours. Let's put it that way. Let's say you've got a friend and their speedlight photography has gone wrong. What has gone wrong? I'll give you one to start with. It has been known for me not to turn my flash on. You can have that one for free. It's very rare, but it does happen. So to bear that in mind, what's gone wrong for you? Let's see how many we can get in. I've got 3 that I'm going to demo over the next 10 minutes or so. So it'd be interesting to see if anybody comes up with the same ones that I've got. Whilst you're there, I'm just going to make sure my camera is all set up and good to go.
So we've got Michael saying, hope your batteries are charged. So
Yeah.
that's kind of one, isn't it?
That is a definite, oh yeah, that is, I'm just checking actually, Michael. Yeah, we're all right, we're at 87%, we're fine.
One for Chloe. Karen loves the outfit. Yeah, so do we. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to do one whilst you guys are typing in. So the first one is a really easy win because it's a mistake that if you're new to flash photography happens quite a lot. And this live stream is aimed at people that are kind of newish to flash. Already? Blimey, people can type fast. Okay.
So we've got hard shadows, too harsh light, hard shadows, bad positioning. I like this one. Batteries drop out and disappear under the table.
Oh yeah, it happens.
Directional light, wrong colour temperature, flat batteries, spectral highlights, too little power, red eye, terrible background shadows, so hard shadow,
Yeah, I mean, there's an awful lot of those that we're going to cover in this and some others that are quite, I should have thought about those. So the first one I'm going to do, so this happens for new photographers and they have been out taking pictures, landscapes, wildlife, whatever it is, and they set their camera up, they put a flash on the top and we take an amazing picture of Chloe. Here we go, let's take a fantastic photo. And the flash didn't fire. Hang on, that's weird, hang on. I should actually turn the flash on. Did I mention that's a mistake? You can have that as a freebie. Here we go. I'm going to flash is on. Here we go. Here we go. Oh, wait a minute. It didn't fire again. What's going on? This can't be right. My flash is on. Why isn't my flash firing? There's a really good reason that this happens more often than you might imagine. And it's all down to modern mirrorless cameras. And that is the electronic shutter in your camera. So if you use silent shutter or some form of electronic shutter, there is a high chance that it won't actually fire the flash. Different brands have different ways of approaching this, but certainly with my OM system camera and many others that I've tried, the first thing to check is if your camera doesn't go click, your flash will not fire. Okay, so let's make my camera go click. Here we go. Let's see if it goes click. If I put it into mechanical, here we go. Okay, my camera went click. The shutter fired. I get a picture. We are good to go. So that's one thing that can go wrong. Have we got any other comments? I could just keep going.
I have got a couple of comments.
I knew you were going to get some more.
Not necessarily related. So Michael's put that they are dressed almost opposite of each other. It's true.
Oh.
Yeah, that's right. So coordinated, guys.
I should have had a leather hat and then that would have matched your boots.
And Norman had put that's a no flash, no picture for the first one.
It is Norman, but it isn't, is it really? That's a mistake from the photographer. Okay, so let's do another one. So I've switched over flashes. I got this little Godox the other day so I can actually demonstrate this. This is the IA32 because this is actually quite hard to demonstrate with modern cameras and flashes. But if you're new to this sort of photography, we've got to think about shutter speed. So the shutter speed of your camera is really important. We talk about flash sync speed all of the time, which is the fastest shutter speed where the whole of your sensor is exposed. When your mechanical shutter fires, that's the fastest you can get. After that, your shutter becomes a bit of a slot that flies over your sensor. Now we say that, but what does it actually look like if you get it wrong? This little flash will allow me to show you exactly that. So I'm a new photographer. I'm going to come in and think, okay, what I really want to do is get, 800th of a second. That should stop any movement, get me a sharper picture. What's going to happen if I take a picture right now? This little flash is going to work. Mostly. Okay, so has my camera broken? Did I get a bad flash? No and no, my camera is doing exactly what I would expect. What you're seeing is the second curtain covering the sensor during the flash firing process. So if I go faster, if I go up to, let's go for 1200th of a second, I get less and less picture appearing. So if I start winding it down a couple of shutter speeds every single time, I can move that off to the side a little bit so you can see it. There we go. Okay, you can see how, as I go through these pictures, that shutter mechanism covers the sensor.
I've had a couple of comments.
Yeah, far away.
So Al Howard said sync speed is way off, not in HSS. Black band, yeah.
Yeah, okay, so HSS would fix that problem, but we're not going to go into that today because we want to try and keep this nice and straightforward and simple as much as we can. That's another video for which we have plenty here on Adorama TV. So getting your shutter speed right is important. So my camera, it is 250th of a second. That's the fastest shutter speed I can go where I get the whole picture displayed. If you have a different camera, you might find, and you almost certainly do, you might find your shutter speed is either slightly faster or more likely slightly slower than that. All you need to know is what is it? And if you're not quite sure, don't get this flash, get this flash. Okay, so if you're in the market for a flash, this is the, which camera am I on? This one. Let's turn that on. This is the Flashpoint Zoom Lithium-Ion 3. It's not the interesting bit. Can you see at the end it says a little O? O for Olympus or OM system. So this is a dedicated flash. At the bottom you get a whole bunch of pins that match up with the pins on the hot shoe of my camera. Now if I put this flash on, the camera and the flash communicate with each other and it immediately resets my shutter speed to the maximum 250th of a second. I can't go past that because that's what a dedicated flash will do. It'll read, hang on, let me just turn that light off. It'll read the camera and know what it's attached to, and let's just try taking a picture. I have no idea what setting this is in. Okay, it's fine. So it kind of works. It's a little dark, but it kind of works. Okay, so that's two things to watch out for. Make sure you're on mechanical flash, make sure that your shutter speed matches your flash sync speed and no faster. Third one I'm going to give you on this little section is mode. Now, I always work in manual mode for flash, always. However, if I change to something a little bit more automatic, let's say I use auto ISO or I use program mode in this case. Okay, Chloe, here we go. Now, arguably, this is a better picture as far as the lighting goes. I mean, the flash definitely fired. You can see it in Chloe's eyes. But this isn't real. This is fake. This is a mixture of the ambient light and my flash. In fact, my shutter speed dropped to a 15th of a second. My aperture opened up to f2.8. My ISO was still at 200. So this is program mode. This is the camera looking at the ambient light and saying that's what you need, and then using the flash to fill in the shadows. So if you're in an automatic mode, your flash will become the fill light, not the other way around. Varies from camera to camera, but remember that. Auto modes tend to make your flash the secondary light to the room lights.
I've got a question.
Fire away.
So David asked, would you ever consider turning the camera upside down to have the higher shutter speed dark area used as a prop?
Yeah, it's a good idea, David. I mean, if you can use your camera upside down, well done. I don't think I could. I haven't considered it, but that doesn't mean to say it wouldn't work. I'd love to see. I mean, yeah, that's a thought. We could get Chloe to hang from the ceiling. That would do the same job. Yes. Let's try that. No, let's not. Yes, love this audience. They're so good. Okay, so if I put my camera into TTL mode, let's see, what mode are we in here? What have I got? TTL mode. Here we go. Quick little test photo. I'm going to get a reasonable photo. Okay, so TTL mode is like the easiest mode to have on your camera. Pop your camera in manual mode, dial in the settings you want to achieve. Why is it on f2.8? I don't remember. Oh, because I'm in shutter priority mode. I didn't turn the dial enough. That might help. It's like, that doesn't sound right. Yeah, user error. So there we go. Those are the settings I want. 250th of a second, f5.6, ISO 200. TTL will just make that happen. Honestly, TTL used to be terrible. It's now, we used to call it totally terrible lighting, TTL. Totally terrible. It's not anymore. It's totally terrific lighting. That's not a brand thing, that's just a personal opinion. So yeah, you could use TTL, but it does look like rabbit in the headlights. So, a few things we're going to do. What's the first and most important picture I should have taken a second ago? I missed a step. So I've got my camera in manual mode, I've dialed in some settings that I actually want. I missed a really important step that I should have done. I'm going to do it now. Here we go, Chloe. Kaboom. Yeah, that step. That's what I missed, didn't I? I missed the no flash, no picture. Because if I don't do that, I don't know whether the room lights are going to affect my picture. I mean, I do. I've been in here long enough to know exactly what's going to happen. But if I was anywhere else, always do NF, NP, or NF, NC. No flash, no Chloe. Okay, yeah, okay. They're audience.
I know, they're very good.
They're very good. Okay, so let's go back to the direct flash. Here we go. Right, so how can I make this better? How can I improve upon this? Well, this is very direct flash. If you don't believe me, hang on a second. Let's just do this. Here we go. I told you I would take some bad photos. Okay. If that's what you're after, if that's what you're getting, you've got a long way to go in the next 45 minutes. And we're going to take you on that journey. So direct flash, you get a shadow behind your subject. Horizontally, it's not actually that bad because the shadow is directly behind your subject. But when you turn your camera on the side, the flash is on the side, so the shadow goes to the side of your subject. Okay, so yeah.
Yeah, Al Howard said it looks like a paparazzi
It
snap.
does.
Yeah.
And we joke, but Chloe has asked me to take pictures like this in the past, haven't you? Yeah, yeah, you have, yeah. Because that's a look that people want.
Brad said a very 60s Rolling Stone.
Absolutely. I'm not saying it's bad, I'm saying it's not what I want
I
today.
love that look, yeah.
No, not supposed to have that look. This is the bad pictures. But it is exactly that. If that's what you want, that is it, job done. However, usually for most people, we'd want to flatter them with some softer light. So this is a bounce flash. It allows me to bounce the flash off the ceiling, which is quite high in here because it's a bunch of rafters and things. Let's see what we get. Okay. That's the difference with bounce versus direct flash. We get rid of the other one. We can flick between the two. Okay. Direct flash, bounce flash. TTL, the camera's doing all the thinking for me. What I'm lacking is any kind of, there's a little catchlight in Chloe's eyes, but they're kind of deep. So I have got a rectangular Speedlight here. Let me just see if I can bring this in. I haven't turned the camera on. Hang on a second. I'm on it. Here we go. Let's see what we get here. Right, we'll wait for that camera to kick in. Or not. Hang on. Techno failure. There it is. Okay, cool. So we're running 6 cameras here today. It's kind of mad. So at the top, this is the rectangular light, okay? Rectangular speedlights have bonus little bits hidden inside. Round ones, not so much. So I have a little wide angle adapter, but this is a bounce card. So when I have it up here, I can bounce light up in the air, but also a little bit forward as well. So if I come back over here and point this at Chloe, okay, I get the best of both effectively. I get direct flash, but also bounce flash. So that's just bounce, that's bounce with the bounce card in. Look at the difference. Okay, so there is a reason I quite like rectangular flashes rather than round flashes, and it's kind of, well, that.
So before you've done that, Brad has said, can you show us how the metering mode would change that bounce flash look?
The metering mode probably wouldn't make much difference, but hey, Brad, for you, I will find out. Let's leave that popped up so we get a like for like from the last picture. And let's see if I can change my metering mode on this camera. Yes, I can. Let's put it in spot metering, because that's going to be the most extreme opposite. Yeah. Okay, just for you, Brad, I made an exact copy of the last picture. Now, it could be that my camera disables metering modes with flash because I never change it off of, and I will change it back because I'll forget. I never change it off of its matrix type metering. But yeah, different cameras, check out the menus because you might find that's a feature that's enabled or disabled as part of having an on-camera flash.
Keith had put my bounce card has never been that effective, lol.
Yeah, I mean we're only that far. I am the same distance from Chloe as the size of your screen. Okay, that's fun.
Also,
you might.
Golf Delta asked, well, it said your ceiling is white. What happens if it's not? Example, if it's purple. Well, everyone would be very happy if it was purple.
Oh yeah,
I think.
Sam would love that. If your ceiling is purple and you bounce your light off of a purple ceiling, you light your subject with purple light. The colour of the light is dictated by the last surface it touches. So if it bounces off a purple ceiling, that's the colour of light that comes back down. Purple. Okay, what about this? This is a little diffuser. It came with the cheap Godox flash. Is this going to make a massive difference? I mean, it's not bad. Does it make the light soft like it said on the listing when I bought it? No. No, it doesn't make it any softer. It might bounce the light around a little bit. It's definitely going to throw some up and some to the side, but it won't ever make your light softer. Anything you attach that's not much bigger than the light itself to the light isn't going to make the light any softer. Softer light is about size of light relative to the subject. These can help to spread the light, and they might make it softer by bouncing off walls and ceilings, but then your ceiling might be purple, and you could be creating more problems for yourself. So, best avoided.
So another question, how do you get rid of the shadows under the neck?
Okay, so if you've got shadows under the neck, so the light is going up, and then it's coming down onto Chloe, so we've got shadows under, oh, hang on. This, just easier to show you, isn't it? One of those. Okay, Chloe, normally I'd put this in a whole mounty thing, but let's make it dramatic so everyone can see. I don't normally ask my model to hold the reflector because now they can only pose like that. So you immediately limit what your model can do for you. I won't put the bounce card in, so we keep it very kind of up and downy. Okay, and if we take the reflector away, okay, have a look under Chloe's chin. Can you see how much more light is bouncing up underneath? Okay, so that's kind of how you would do it if you're doing it with a single flash, just like that. Hey, these are really good questions tonight. Well done, everybody. Very impressed. Right, okay, how are we doing for time? 20 minutes already gone. Blimey, that went quick. Let's get the flash off the camera, because that's kind of more fun, isn't it? Right, off-camera flash. Okay, let's see. If we switch over to, yes, look at how straight and level that looks. Oh, wrong way. Hang on. Hang on. Let me just zoom in a bit for you. How's that? Okay, so here is my Speedlight. It's currently set to TTL mode. It's got a bluish color, but there's a little button down here that looks like a lightning bolt. If I press that, oh, hang on, there we go, press that, it'll change it to this mode, and this is where it acts as a commander for other flashes. If I press it again, oh, apparently I can't. That's fun. Oh, there we go. Yeah, why is it always live that suddenly something weird happens? There we go. What's going on? It's live. If I press it again, I know why, because it's on camera. It won't let me do this mode when it's actually on camera. What a fool I am. I've switched my camera off and suddenly it works. Of course you can't have off-camera flash mode when you're on camera. Ah, dearie me. Really? Anyway, let's try that again. That's the mode we were in. We'll cut this out. It'll go in the edit. It'll be fine. That's the mode we're in. That is the control command mode, and that is the off-camera flash mode. So that's the mode I want to be in for off-camera flash, pretty obviously. There's a few things I'm going to draw your attention to, and it's this one right here where it says CH16 and then the letter A. So this is channel 16, group A. Well, what does that mean? Well, this is important for off-camera work. You have channels and you have groups. Channels are for photographers, groups are for flashes. So channel 16, if I had another photographer next to me, they would want to be on a different channel so we don't use each other's channel and accidentally trigger each other's lights. Channels are photographers, groups are flashes. This is flash A in a group. If I wanted a different flash to be controlled differently, it would be flash B. And if I wanted a third flash, I'd put it in group C. Okay, so channels are for photographers, groups are for flashes. Does that make sense? Okay, so that's kind of important. So that's useful, but if you're going to take the flash off the camera, you're going to need one of these as well, aren't you? So, oh, really? How do I manage that? You're going to need a transmitter. Now this is an Olympus transmitter. It has the same pins, but it wouldn't matter that this was a Sony flash, for example, which is what we're going to use next. I think it might be a Canon flash, but anyway, you only need a transmitter that's compatible with your camera. The flashes will then talk to the transmitter and everything will be wonderful. But if you're about to buy a Pro Photo, don't buy a Flashpoint transmitter, buy a Pro Photo transmitter. Likewise, if you're going to buy a Flashpoint set, your Pro Photo transmitter or insert other brand won't work. So the transmitters are only compatible with their companion flashes. And if you're interested, Godox and Flashpoint are compatible. Nothing else is.
Got a comment from Brad.
Yeah.
Don't forget about seeing the radio beacon in the top left corner to confirm it's wireless.
Yeah, yep, that's that corner, isn't it? Yep, good point. Okay, so my transmitter is on exactly the same channel, and everything that was up there. Channel 16A. Okay, so this is now controlling, if you can see that. Okay, so they're now talking to each other. I'm actually going to use a different flash because I've got another flash ready to go.
You got a question?
Yeah, go for it.
Which do you prefer, radio transmitter or light-based?
Always oh my goodness me. So back in the day, the early days of off-camera flash, we'd use infrared transmitters, and I mean, they worked, but you needed line of sight. So if you were going to put a flash right up against the back of Chloe, it would never fire because it would never see the flash of light. She'd be blocking it literally physically. Radio transmitters, that's all history, and thank goodness for that. So yeah, radio transmitters, game changer the day they became available. Yeah, what a day. Right, okay, so we've got a flash. I'll turn it on. It is on channel 16. It's on group A. Chloe, do you want to just stand up for me? Let's lose the chair, and you're just going to stand up against the background. Okay, cool. Okay. Should we put a softbox on it, make it look a little nicer? Yeah, let's do that. Let's grab a softbox. I'm leaving gear links in the video description, so if there's anything you want to find out about, then go check out the video description. And they'll take you back to Adorama. And I'll make sure that's actually locked down. So I've switched it out for one of the round head Speedlights, but it really doesn't matter. I mean, round head, rectangular head, does it matter once it's in a softbox? Not really. Not really. Okay. So let's get that in here. Let's see if TTL will actually work. So we'll put a flash, something like that. That looks, I mean, who knows? That's probably about right. TTL. Oh, hello. Sorry about that. Don't look at that one. Nothing to see here. Okay. Boom. I mean, TTL is really good. It just works. I can take the camera off. I don't have to be in the same place. Technical pictures are done, so I can actually move around a little bit more now. Okay. I can move my feet. I probably walked out of shot. And the TTL just keeps going.
So,
great, isn't it?
Seyhan asked, what is the flash that's in use now?
Okay, so this is the Flashpoint Zoom X Pro. Gear link in the video description. Okay, so this is the round Zoom X Pro, I think it's called. It's probably got lithium ion written in the middle of that description somewhere. Okay, so that kind of works. It's really good. TTL is very, very good. If you're a run and gun photographer, TTL is excellent. It's almost got to the point where I could use it, but it just doesn't quite give me consistency, and it's possible to really mess it up. Should we mess it up? Yes, let's mess it up. Chloe, take a step forward for me. Maybe another little, just come up to the, yeah, that's it. Okay, so what I like to do is something a bit more dramatic. I'm going to make a bit more dramatic lighting, so we're going to get this. I'm going to bring this light in behind you. Something like that. Yeah, that's going to be terrific. Look at that, love that. Light coming in from behind. We could do with a second light. Let's get a second flash.
Got a couple of questions.
Yes.
So TR Fox asked, does a softbox cause issues with TTL?
Short answer, watch back a couple of minutes and you'll see no, it was absolutely fine. So the way TTL works is there's a little pre-flash of light from the Speedlight. It hits your subject, bounces off them, and is read by the camera. The camera then figures out what sort of power it thinks it might need to get a full correct exposure. That gets sent back by the transmitter to the flash, which does exactly that, and bingo, you get a good picture. It all happens at the speed of light, and it never really used to work, but nowadays, yeah, it's pretty good.
I'm glad you just, it's like you can read questions before I'm putting them up.
Hey,
that's great.
There you go, yeah. It's pre-flash, reading, camera meter, everything's good. And TTL is like having auto mode. It's kind of set and forget, right up until it stops doing exactly what you want, which is right now. So I'm deliberately making it go wrong because that's the kind of mean thing I do. So I've got my little rectangular Speedlight. Let's pop it in there. There we go, lovely. Oh, I should have said, I don't know if we're going to manage to get this up there. Can I have that camera?
You can if you want, but it might be a little pointless.
I'll get it. Look at that, that's fantastic. Let's just roll with that, that's fine. Okay, so Before I actually take a picture with it, this is set to the wireless mode. As Brad pointed out, there's a little wireless symbol up in the corner. Okay, it's on channel 16, so we know this is going to work, but it's on A. Now the other flash is also set to A, so if I do nothing, they would both flash with the same power, but one's in a softbox and one isn't. So I wouldn't want them to be the same power, I'd want them to be independently controlled. So to do that, I'm going to press the group button. So it says GR, and it's the button directly below, and that will allow me to change it to group 16, group B, and again, here we go. That camera? Second take, yeah. Oh no, it's live, I can't do that. It changes it to group B, we'll pick it up from there, which happens to be at 1/16th power. Oh, people watch this for the whole smooth slickness of it. Somebody did put in the comments on one of our live streams, would you please stop messing around and just do them better? It's like, you come and have a go. It's not easy.
The worst part is that's what we're trying.
Yeah, we are. That we are, very trying. Okay, so that is, it's not quite where I'd like to put it, but it'll do for the purposes of demonstration. So if I do nothing and I leave it on 1/16th power, no, I'm going to put it in TTL mode, aren't I? I'm going to leave it in TTL mode, hang on. TTL mode, which I can do from the remote control. I don't have to go back over to that at all.
I think he's had too much tea. Sorry, everyone. You've got a question?
Yeah, far away.
Sharks asked, what is the mount called where you just mounted the flash without the softbox?
Oh, I knew someone was going to ask me that one. So that is something that is specific, as far as I can tell, from Adorama, and it is the OTA mount. OTA? Oh, it's written on the side somewhere. Hang on. Someone was going to ask me. Yeah, the OTA mount. So head over to Adorama's page, do a search for OTA. I think they're discontinuing it, or at least it looks like it's no longer quite as available as it once was. So they're brilliant. I tried ProPhoto the other day. ProPhoto had something extremely similar. And they were like, oh, this is amazing. I'm thinking, well, yeah, I know. So if it's good enough for them. Okay.
So Dave said perhaps you should do a video of the outtakes.
Oh my God. Dave, could you imagine how long that would be?
Roughly,
It would be very long.
It would 1 hour, I'd say.
Very,
and it will be
very
at 7 o'clock on a Thursday. Oh, wait, no, that's the live.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
the whole live.
Yeah. Okay, so here we go. Chloe, look to the side for me. Okay, so I want this kind of dramatic portrait. Okay, here we go. Okay, I seem to have got more light on the back of Chloe than the front. Hang on a minute, I'm just gonna take a wider picture so I can see what's going on. Okay, right, that's a different exposure. Hang on, Chloe, I'm just gonna come for a close-up just to see what we get. Okay, what I'm not getting is any consistency here. So I mean, it's fun though, isn't it?
That looks cool.
It's not what I want. So all of these pictures are nice individually, but none of them are the same, and none of them are actually what I had in my head when I set this lighting pattern up. So TTL, if it's coming in from behind, or in my case, if I'm using more than one light in TTL, things start to go wrong for me. Other people will disagree. Joe McNally, the king of TTL. I can't do that. So once I reach this stage, I switch off TTL and go for manual mode on my flashes. So I'm going to go manually for my flashes. The other thing I'm going to do is something that photographers, when they're starting out, make a massive mistake on, and that is actually just working out one light and then adding another one. Don't turn on all of your lights. Stop, work out what one's doing. When that's correct, add a second light. Okay, so let's turn off the.
If you wondered why we
backlights.
were laughing behind, because
No,
Gavin
I've given
can
up.
see us, yeah.
Not really.
We've got the little square, or the rectangle of close-up right in front of us.
Oh, I see. You
Yeah,
can.
so this is what we've got. It's catching both our eyes.
I can't stop looking at it. This is weird.
It's good to know the face detect works, though. That's great. Okay, so Chloe's going to look to the side. I've turned the light that's in the background off. I've just got the softbox on. I could get a flash meter and do it that way, but I'm actually just going to do it by eye. I'm actually going to do it by eye by turning it on. Hang on a second. Why didn't it fire? That's a fun question. There we go. Okay, so That's kind of what I'm after, except I want a little bit more light on Chloe, so I might actually have to move that light a little bit. Well, Chloe, you can actually just turn and look. Look that way a bit.
So apparently you rock, according to Thomas from Colorado Springs.
There we go. Thank you, Thomas. I try. I tend to rock from side to side when I'm trying to work out what's going wrong.
And the bloopers make it so much fun, and watching Chloe try not to crack up is great.
Chloe's done this long enough. She's a professional. Okay, so that was what I'm after, but now I want to have the backlight in, so I'm going to turn off the key light, which for reference is at 1/8 power, just for those that like to know powers. I'm going to turn on the background light at its lowest possible power, 256 power.
We've just had a question. I'll answer this one.
You answer that one once I get
so
this
this
right.
is Gustavo, just asked, will this video be available after the live session? It will indeed. You can go back and watch it, and you'll get all the comments running down the sides if you want them or not.
So 1/64th power on the back, 1/8 power at the front gives me the lighting style that I was actually after. Okay, so I'm going to take a few photos like that. Here we go. Because that's what we did before. And what we'll get is consistency. Even if it's consistently wrong, even if I include the light in the picture, knowing full well that I can remove it later on, I'm going to get consistent results. So if your results from your speedlights are a little all over the shop, it could well be that you are in TTL mode for one or more of your lights and you're suffering a little bit of inconsistency and trying to push your TTL beyond what it's capable of doing. Okay, so that's kind of fun. Let's see if we can just roll back a couple of pictures.
Apparently, we rock as well, Frey and I.
Oh, we already
Of
knew
course,
that.
we
Yeah.
knew
Thanks,
that.
John.
Yeah, thank you.
You got some love for your shots.
Okay.
Love this one. Apparently, Chloe's one of the queens of Adorama. Beautiful results. Love that look.
Yeah. So
And a
this
question
is,
about TTL.
okay, so
Frey,
just
there.
before I dive into that,
Yep.
this is the TTL version. This is what the camera thought I wanted, along with all of those, but this is what I actually wanted to get. So hopefully you can spot the difference in these pictures as I'm going through. Okay, what was the question?
It was Ben's question, which was, would bright sunlight outdoors throw TTL
Yeah,
off?
it can. Yeah, absolutely. Any stray light sources, if they're coming straight into the camera, might well throw it off because the camera is trying to create a world that is mid-grays and perfect and lovely, and that's not always the case. So a strong, non-controlled light, could be a video light that's shining straight in, might throw your TTL out. On the other hand, it might not. It depends on the camera as much as the lighting technology. There's a lot of variables at work.
Michael said that was like a mix between Grease and Matrix.
Well, there's a combination I was not
Yeah.
expecting.
Yeah.
Right, okay. So let's have a look at some other problems that can go wrong with your little speedlight photos. Chloe, right back against the wall for me. Okay, so you're new to speedlights. You've just got a speedlight. You want to do a portrait. You've got a nice background from Manfrotto. Isn't it lovely? Let's get a picture set up. So I've got a speedlight. I've got a softbox. I've seen someone on YouTube do something like this where they put it about 45 degrees. Don't know why. Let's do that then. Perfect, lovely. Round about that, it's a little way away. It looked like the one on the video had a little distance, so that's what I'm going to do. I even bought, look, I bought a flash meter because I saw a guy on YouTube say that was a good idea, so that's a good idea. Chloe, I'm going to pop this near your chin. Here we go. And we want to get this to match my camera. Okay. Hey, there we go. So for those that don't know what a flash meter does, it's kind of a get out of jail free card. It just tells me the right answer, which of course is my camera settings. I always make my flash match my camera, not the other way around. Okay, and I take a picture of Chloe, here we go. And the picture is, I mean, it's all right, isn't it? I've taken worse today, okay? And we can take a few pictures, but for some reason, it just doesn't have any soul. It's just, meh, you know, it's nice. And compared to having no flash or direct on-camera flash, it's way better. But how do you give your pictures that little kind of something extra? Where do you go from here to something that is a bit more controlled, defined, unique, and your own. There's one thing I'm going to do. Pop it in the chat. What am I going to do to make this mine and more my style? Okay.
Question for Chloe
Oh,
from Lee asking, is Chloe available for assignments in the UK? Yeah, she is. Her Instagram details are in the description. So drop her a message, Lee.
Okay. Yes, she absolutely is. Okay, so let's bring this light closer, because that's the one thing I'm going to do. I'm going to bring the light closer to my subject.
Got some suggestions coming in.
Oh, we've got some other suggestions. Yeah, please.
Add a grid.
Add a grid.
Smoke.
Yeah.
Smoke.
Yeah,
Purple.
yeah. Purple smoke.
Colour. Move the flash nearer to Chloe.
There you go.
Gel.
Well done, Dave.
Smoke.
Yeah, smoke isn't the answer to everything, but you know, I like your thinking. Okay, so I moved the light closer to Chloe. I'm down to 1/8 power, where I was at 1/2 power. That doesn't mean anything other than that my battery will last longer, save the planet, and so on.
We had another suggestion, actually,
Yeah,
because
far
everyone was
away.
saying, everyone. Some people were saying colour.
Just look up towards
Someone
the
saying
light.
black and white.
Yeah, I mean, that's not a bad answer. A bit of editing. But have a look at this. So this is with the light closer. Let's dump that one out the way. And this is with the light further back. Let's get rid of that one temporarily. There we go. So distant light, relatively speaking, closer light. Now you might prefer one or the other. You might not like either. That's also okay. But if you're looking for something with a bit more interest, I prefer that one, where that one, if I'm doing a family portrait session, that's exactly where I'd put the light. Even spread of light, I'd probably put one on the other side to even up the shadows. But if I'm doing something for an individual that wants character, that has more of it because of the light fall off, because of the light closeness. I'm hoping someone will agree, but I can't see the chat, so.
Light strainer.
Oh, I should have got the light strainer out today. Yeah. Next time, we'll do that next month, definitely. Okay, let's do one more. Let's do one more setup and have a look at things that can go wrong and how you can improve them. So, a chair, I'm going to get this a little lower. Oh, that's quite nice, actually. Do you want to grab the stuff and I'll sit here? Yeah, that'd be nice, wouldn't it? So, standing up against a wall is great and lovely and good and all that. I might have to push you back because I've run out of room for the video. There we go. Let's pop you back there. Let's bring in a light stand and one of the best things I ever got, which is the Apple box set. One of those things, an Apple box set, I thought, well, what am I going to do with that? I don't need a bunch of boxes, for goodness sake, and not cheap boxes. Just the best thing I've ever bought, because these are so useful for so many things, and today they're making an impromptu table. So these are the Flashpoint unpainted Apple boxes. So I'm going to bring that in, something like that, and then Chloe can actually use that to rest her elbows on, although do be aware it's kind of, it's kind of not screwed down. Okay, so we know a few things. We know that getting the light close is going to give us a more dramatic picture. So that's where I'm going to start. I'm going to get my light as close to Chloe as I reasonably can without it being in the shot. Something like that. Okay, lovely. That looks pretty good. Okay, and then I'm going to get a flash meter, get an exposure, here we go. 4.5. Okay, now I could set my camera to 4.5, or I could just dial up the flash. 7, 6.3, 5, I've missed. Somewhere in the middle, 5.6. Okay, so my flash now matches my camera. I wonder if I can sit down as well. I've got a stool. Here we go. Well, I'm going to be looking slightly. Oh, it's lovely. That's better, isn't it? Okay, so let's take a picture. Here we go. See how that looks. And that looks all right, doesn't it? That's nice lighting. Got beautiful catch light in Chloe's eyes. It should be nice and sharp. Oh, look at the detail. Absolutely gorgeous. Not so keen on the light-coloured board. Definitely need to stain that. So the fix for that, don't include it in the picture. There we are. Problem solved, really, isn't it? That's kind of nice. There's a little bit of light drop off, but I haven't got it so much that the background has gone black. So Chloe isn't disappearing into the shadows. Everything is going really well. So what can I do to make this stay really well? Well, there's one other thing you need to bear in mind, and that is colour. I think somebody mentioned it right at the start when we talked about things that can go wrong with your photo sessions. Colour is usually quite simple when it comes to speedlights because they're a fixed colour value, sort of. Okay, so by and large, I set my camera white balance to 5200, 5200K, and that's normally okay. However, there's some variables at play that you need to know about. The first one is the flash itself. Different flashes can be warmer and cooler. So yeah, I've got some flashes from Flashpoint that are noticeably warmer than this. Then you have the power. As the power goes up and down, that can change the color of the light that your flash outputs ever so slightly. And finally, it's this thing. As they get old, as they get a bit grubby and you take them on location, they can change the color of light as well. If I put a different softbox on, I might end up with a different color of light. So if color is critical, if color is the thing that's shifting your images from okay to let's get it better, this could be the thing that you need to do to make it better. Now you might want to use the gray cards. I like to take this picture with the color swatches. Now there are lots of options for color swatch things out there. Let me turn that on. This is my favorite one. This is the Color Checker Passport. There you go, something like that. It's designed for portraits. You can see there's little faces at the top. So I've got white balances for warm and cool tones. And if I want to get really serious, there's the bottom one, but that is for serious color profiling, which is beyond most people. It's the top ones I'm interested in. What I'll do with these is bring it into post-processing and choose one of the color swatches. Click on it with the little eyedropper white balance tool and get my white balance right. But I just need Chloe to hold that. Fantastic. I need to make sure it's in the same light that's lighting Chloe. I need to photograph it. And then I can use that as my color reference chart later on. And I won't do this picture until everything else is set up. There's no point doing it and then moving the light, changing the power, changing the softbox. So if you're going to white balance like this, it's the last thing that you do once everything is correct and set up. All right. Okay, pretty good. Okay, let's have a look at a couple of other problems. We've still got plenty of time, we've got 10 minutes. If you've got any chat questions, do stick them in the chat. If not, I'm going to do a problem that happens quite a bit. Here we go, let's just see what we've got. Okay, Chloe, quick little test photo, see what we got here. Okay, that is a little bit on the dark side. I've changed my camera settings, so I'm going to increase my flash power to maximum. That's maximum. Okay, now I've got some problems. At some point, you will find you run out of flash power for lots of reasons. Here, if you look in the top left corner, you can see my camera settings. Which of those do you think I should change? We're looking at the big ones along the top. Shutter speed, aperture, ISO. Because I can't make my flash any brighter. I could move it closer to Chloe, that is an option, but then it would be in the picture.
So Keith has put F22 is rough, lol.
Yeah, it is. Keith, you're absolutely right. I'm being deliberately awkward. So F22, if I was doing a family portrait session and I wanted a great big group of people to be in focus, I might want to be at F22. However, the quality of your images will drop through the floor thanks to something called diffraction, which is not something we're covering today. Yeah, get the aperture down. Agreed.
F-stop and ISO aperture.
Let's go F11. F11. Okay, here we go. Let's see. F11 is a much more reasonable aperture. F11, and it's still not enough light. What I'm really glad is no one said shutter speed. That was the bear trap I set for you, and you've all managed to avoid it. So yeah, shutter speed won't make any difference. And if you're not sure why, rewind this video, go watch the beginning when we talked about getting your shutter speed correct. So let me put my ISO up a little bit. Okay, there we go. So I can go f11, full power, ISO 200, and get a perfectly good exposure. Brilliant! Okay, I'm going to take a few pictures. We're going to go quite quick. Here we go, because we're running out of time. Here we go, Chloe. Okay, love it. Fantastic. Keep going. Love it. Yeah, this is great. Okay, this is fantastic. Loving this, Chloe. Oh, yeah, amazing. Did anybody spot what I did wrong? I mean, I gave Chloe plenty of compliments. However, not all of my pictures came out. I mean, classic. Oops, no, that's another one. That's all right. No, okay, clearly my flash is broken. That's the answer, isn't it? My flash is clearly not, I mean, let's send it back. Okay,
so Danny said get the aperture down and the likes up. Yeah, so if you haven't clicked Danny, the thumbs up, it'd be appreciated if you do. Thank you.
Okay, so another reason that your Speedlight pictures may not be looking how you want is because you are running your Speedlight at close or at its full power, and the recycle time as you get up to those levels can be long. Yay, there you go. Look at everyone's got it. Flash recycle time. Okay, so depending on the flash, if it's a good flash like the ones I've got from Flashpoints, it's not going to fire until it's fully recycled. And by recycled, inside of your flash is a capacitor that holds the electricity, and when you press the shutter, it dumps it all into the flash tube, and the flash tube goes flash. Until you get enough power in that capacitor, it won't flash.
Is it a flux capacitor?
It is a flux capacitor. That's where they got the name from. No, it's not. No, it's not. So bear that in mind. Cheaper flashes, older flashes, would fire regardless at what level your capacitor was up. So you used to find if you went too fast, your light level would fluctuate up and down because it wasn't fully charged. It was 3/4 or whatever, and it would fire the flash. So at least that doesn't happen. So there's two takeaways from this. First of all, I never run my flash at full power for this reason. And secondly, I always have this feature turned on. Hang on a second. Let's just see if you can get my camera. Okay. So we can find Chloe. Where is she? There she is. This is really hard to do upside down and back to front. Chloe, there we are. Right, okay. Oh, up. Stop. There, perfect. Okay. Can you see what's happening on my camera? For 0.3 of a second, for 0.3 of a second, I'm seeing the picture on my camera. Most cameras have that turned off by default, but having that on means that as I'm taking my pictures, I'm reviewing the images. I can see if the flash didn't fire. I also have the beep on for the flash. For the same reason, I can hear when the flash is ready to go. When you hear the beep, you're okay to take a photo. So those two little features I think are essential for photographers. Quick review, but no more than half a second, and the beep on so you know you keep going. Lots of people will disagree, especially on the beep. Okay, so we've got 5 minutes. Let's do one last thing that photographers get wrong that we're going to fix right now. We'll get rid of that. Thank you very much. Okay. And it just unscrews, isn't it? It's just random. Okay, so Chloe's going to go stand up against the background. And I've watched a whole bunch of videos on YouTube. I know about lighting.
Steve has said all this talk of Back to the Future, you should do an 80s themed photo shoot.
Well.
Funny you should say that.
What did you buy the other day for that?
I bought some skates.
Chloe, can you roller skate? Yeah. Does that sound health and safety okay? Because you're an expert roller skater. Maybe sat down in roller skate. I don't think I could even get to the chair in roller skates. I remember going ice skating and walking around outside of the ice skates. I'm like, oh, this is really, really good. Put 1 foot on the ice.
I'm good at ice skating.
You're good at ice skating? A lady of many hidden talents. Ooh, perhaps we could freeze the studio in the winter. We'll just turn the heating off. It'll be great. Okay, so I watched a YouTube video. I saw this guy say what you should do is you should stick a light over to the side like this, get it quite close, something like that. Then he said get a flash meter, so I'm going to get a flash meter and pop this near your chin, Chloe. I'm going to pop this near your chin. F14. And he said run at F5.6, so I'm going to do that. Hang on. Unless you've got a full frame, and then run it at F8. Okay. F5.6, good enough for me. 1/8 power, I'll take that. Okay, and then he said take some photographs. So I'm going to stand in front of you like this. Here we go, Chloe. Right, okay. Does help not to be on F11, doesn't it? Now, I could have got away with that. Did you put that on the screen? You did, didn't you?
No. You're fine, carry on.
Right. Again, this will be in the edit. We'll take this out. It's going to be a really short video after the edit. Okay. Yeah, F5.6, that does help. Okay, and that's kind of nice. That looks all right. It's quite edgy, quite contrasty. I quite like that. That's all right. Okay, I'm going to take some more pictures. Here we go, Chloe. Oh yeah, this is great. What am I doing wrong? I'm doing something really, really wrong. Wow. Love it. Okay, what? This is amazing. I'm giving Chloe plenty of compliments, but what am I doing wrong? Okay. Should we do it right? Yeah, let's do it right. Okay, so what I'm doing wrong. First of all, I've left this light on. It's really blinding when I look at you. Hold on, that's kind of like, wow, that's intense. That's better. I'm doing what I did at the start. What I see so many photographers do at the start. I'm not doing anything wrong. It's not what I'm not doing right. I'm not moving my feet.
Yeah, you got some answers, so move your feet. Oh.
Lead feet.
Yeah, not moving.
Yeah.
And Michael said using the back screen.
Now, see, Michael, I would disagree strongly with you on that one. Nothing personal, but what Michael's saying is I should have been doing this. Okay, so it doesn't. I can do this. It's fine. It's not going to make any difference. But what's going to happen if you do this, I would say, is actually a mistake, because if your model isn't an experienced model, this is a really weird thing to do, because you're communicating with somebody like this, whereas this is a much more, okay, not this close, not this close. This is a much more human thing to do, whereas that feels a lot less personal. Now, Chloe's a professional. She could do this all day long.
So Michael said that's why you need the skates.
Yeah, I think that's a bad idea. But you're right, lead feet. So let's move my feet around, okay? So I can move my feet a little bit, start coming around here, see what happens if I start to move my feet around a little bit. Look up into the light for me, Chloe. Fantastic. Okay. If I come around here, okay, this is not quite so good. Chloe, yeah, look over there. Chloe's such a professional. Okay, kind of cool. Then, let's do this. Okay, this, now the only caveat to that is I got to the point where I really do need reading glasses, so it's not as sharp as it was before, but I can actually, am I on the screen? Can we have the top camera? Let's see if, yeah, okay, here we go, yeah. Okay, I can actually do this. Okay, so I can actually find an angle where I'm not actually holding the camera to my eye, and I can move around a little bit, or I can be at a low angle. Let's go dramatic. So if I would just had the light, the camera at eye height, I would get different results. Now, none of these are necessarily great photos, but what they are is experimental. And how you get better at photography is experimenting. And the more you experiment, the better you'll get. Boom. There we go. There is a long journey we've been on from the very first pictures where we had this sort of photography, direct on-camera flash photography, through to something that has the feel of a much more high-end shoot than just getting a Speedlight and popping it on camera and just hoping for the best. Okay, some of these are great. I love these. These are so cool. Okay, Top of the hour, we're kind of done. Any questions? Anything I should have missed or covered?
Probably a lot of things.
Anybody still watching?
Yes.
If you are still
so
watching...
Stedman has said add some bounce on the shadow side. I'm sure you would have tried that if you'd had
Had we had the
few more
time, a
minutes,
fill light
yeah.
would have gone in there.
And
Look,
Chris said you should be sitting in a DeLorean. I agree. I totally agree.
Yes, DeLorean would have been good. So yeah, all of those things absolutely correct. But right now what I wanted to do was just show how you can move from on-camera flash to bounce flash to off-camera flash to getting your light close and then being experimental, which was a lot to take in an hour. So hopefully you found that useful. Remember, you can go back and watch this, and if you've enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to find out more about the gear links, go check them out in the video description. Chloe's details are down there as well. Yeah, it is possible to take a bad picture of Chloe. Trust me, I've done it. Okay, so thank you very much. I'm going to thank behind the camera, Freya on the Super Switcher, Sam on the comments.
Thanks for all your comments and sticking with us to the end. There was a lot of stuff packed in there, and any questions we didn't cover, we'll try and cover in future lives. So come back soon.
Yeah, we do go through and read the comments even if we can't answer them all. But if you want more live stuff, we have a lot more live stuff here on the channel. Every Wednesday, Seth is live with the Coffee with the Creators. So go check that out. That is always worth a watch. And then we've got our Adorama Events channel, the second channel, which is basically everything that happens in the event space. We're not in the event space, unfortunately. But yesterday, for example, it was, 48 poses in 8 minutes or some. Go check that out with one of the Sigma ambassadors. She did an incredible job. So there is loads of live content as well as the recorded stuff. We're going to be back on this channel live in 4 weeks' time. And we're going to be back on the channel with some recorded stuff this time in 2 weeks. I think it's actually 2 weeks for the next one. Or it might be next week. Next week.
Yeah, the next live.
Next live is actually a Tuesday.
Oh, it is a Tuesday,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah, that's true.
So it's just under.
Okay, I better come up with an idea then. Great, okay, no problem. We'll cover that round. Okay, that brings us to the end of the live stream. Thank you, Adorama. Thank you, audience. I'm Gavin Hoey. Thanks for watching.